So the Denver Nuggets was just recently eliminated by the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference semifinals, and this was supposed to be a run for the Nuggets. They were supposed to be a team that makes it to the NBA Finals again, wins back-to-back NBA championships, and really start to create this so-called dynasty that they were trying to build here in Denver. Unfortunately, they ran into a team that was built to beat them. Yes, as we all know, Tim Connelly, who used to be the previous general manager for the Denver Nuggets, came to Minnesota. He really revamped this team, and he really built them specifically in a way that is able to beat the Denver Nuggets. And he did his job, certainly, because the Denver Nuggets were outplayed by the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I made a video previously discussing the Minnesota Timberwolves and basically them winning it, but I really only touched very briefly about the Denver Nuggets and their struggles. We all kind of know already what the struggles were for the Nuggets in that series, especially more so in Game 7. Jokic was just exhausted, tired, and throughout the playoffs in general, Mike Malone, he slowly went down in the rotation to the point where he was pretty much only playing his starters. And we all know Game 7, it was just a mess. And that Denver Nuggets team going up against one of the best defenses that we've seen in a very long time, and this Minnesota Timberwolves team was just worn out from playing these guys, and we know the outcome of what happened. But the offseason now is here for the Denver Nuggets, and yes, it's very disappointing for them, and not seeing Jokic make it back to the NBA Finals again. A very disappointing season for them, the MVP. But there's got to be some questions that needs to be answered, because coming into the next season, the Denver Nuggets are going to have the second highest payroll just behind the Phoenix Suns next season. When they traded for Aaron Gordon and they re-signed Michael Porter Jr. to that max contract, giving him all that money, and the guy who we'll discuss in just a little bit, but this was pretty much solidifying this team as what they were going to build to have this type of team, a championship team. When they traded for Aaron Gordon, got him, this was their team. This is what they're building with, similar to how it was when the Minnesota Timberwolves traded for Rudy Gobert. Even though we had a lot of backlash during that time about that, look at it now. It's paying off. And it immediately paid off for the Denver Nuggets when they acquired Aaron Gordon. This core of Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., all these guys are getting paid lots and lots of money. They still have multiple years left on their contract as well. But this is one of the main reasons as well why the Denver Nuggets bench is so bad. Really, the only valuable players I say they have on their bench is Christian Braun, who had a really great rookie season last year and a great season this year. You have KCP, you have Reggie Jackson, who's not played bad at times, but this is pretty much the team that these guys have off their bench. You know, last year we know they had Bruce Brown, they had Jeff Green, they had key pieces that really helped them pave that way to winning that NBA championship. Bruce Brown was a huge bonus on that team, and losing him was a big blow for them defensively speaking, and in a way offensively speaking, because he had some great offensive performance last year in those NBA Finals. But now they find themselves in a position that's totally different from where they were then. This team has no bench pretty much, and they are paying their starting lineup all of the money in the world. We all know Nikola Jokic, he deserves every penny of his $200+ million deal, and Jamal Murray, and respectfully speaking, Aaron Gordon. But the guy who I feel like shouldn't be getting paid that much money is Michael Porter Jr. If you don't know who Michael Porter Jr. is, well, Michael Porter Jr., when he was in high school, he was undoubtedly seen as the best player. He was the #1 ranked player in his class. Fortunately, he went to Missouri, but he had that bad back injury, but he was still drafted as a lottery pick, because just looking at his potential, this guy, 6'9", 6'10", he can shoot the ball, he can dribble, he can do many things on the offensive end of the basketball court, and he was still, even despite being hurt for the most of this season for Missouri, was drafted as one of their highest picks. He was a lottery pick. He was the 13th overall pick in that year's draft by the Denver Nuggets. At the time, this was really like a sleeper deal. This is really a great deal for the Denver Nuggets in acquiring Michael Porter Jr. because we didn't know what he could be, and he's actually turned out to be overall a very, very good player for them. But when you look at the way that the NBA is going now, and with the new CBA rules, it's kind of hard to really build big threes in the NBA. And it's definitely hard to build teams going to constantly repeat as champions because as we've seen every single year now, there's been crowned a new NBA champion. And for the Denver Nuggets, it's no different. The talent for the league is just growing and growing and growing. And the West is only going to get even tougher now, especially since the Memphis Grizzlies are going to be coming back next season alone. Not to get off topic, yes, Michael Porter Jr. for overall has been a very, very good player for the Denver Nuggets. And seeing him healthy and actually playing has been a really big bonus. He played 81 games last season for them pretty much now, and he averaged 16.7 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist. He did his part overall. Let's not forget, he signed a 5-year, $207 million extension with the Denver Nuggets. And granted, this year, like I said, he played 81 games, practically all regular season long. And this season in the playoffs against the Lakers first round, he played amazing. He averaged over 22 points a game. He was very dominant overall in that series. The Lakers couldn't really do anything with him. He was shooting very efficiently from the field. On top of that, playing really, really good. But then he goes up against this Timberwolves team, a totally different monster. Well, for that series, he only averaged 10.7 points, 5.7 rebounds. He averaged a block. Overall, pretty not so good numbers offensively, but defensively speaking, he actually played pretty solid defense in that series alone. But what I'm basically trying to explain here is that Michael Porter Jr., he's getting paid all of this money, and he's not playing nearly to that level of a guy who really deserves all that money. And that's no disrespect to him, but a guy who's getting $200+ million on a deal, man, that player better be an all-star. He better be one of the best players on that team. And the thing about Michael Porter Jr., for a long time with his career and everything, we've gone off of it a lot by potential. Like, this guy has potential to be this. He has the potential to be that. Each and every single year, there's a lot of hope for him. Like I said, even getting drafted as high as he did in the NBA draft, despite him being injured in college, teams still took a chance on him. The Nuggets still took a chance on him, and they have been consistent with him. And the thing is, he's actually been overall, as I said, a pretty solid NBA player. But he's not, I believe, going to be that player that we thought he could truly be in his career. He's still very young. He still has a lot of time to grow and even become better as a player. I mean, you can trade him probably on another team, and he may average over 20 points a game. But specifically on this Denver Nuggets team, he knows his role and he knows exactly what he has to do. This guy was supposed to be that key piece for this Denver Nuggets team, really taking that hump to the next level, taking that leap up and creating this dynasty that they wanted to create. So look, all I'm really trying to say now is that if I'm the Denver Nuggets and I actually want to improve my roster next year, I may consider the fact in trading Michael Porter Jr. Is their window closed for winning an NBA championship? Absolutely not. This team is still a very talented team, but let's be real. Jokic and these guys, they cannot be playing every night 40 minutes a night when you're going up against a Timberwolves team that is deep and that can rely on many of their role players to step up. Look at what Naz Reid did for a perfect example. He came into the game and he dominated in those short span of time that he was played. When Karl-Anthony Towns had his 5th foul, he came in and did his thing. And what the Nuggets did in that response, absolutely nothing. So really, in order for this team to really become better, they need those two key glue guys off the bench. Yes, Michael Porter Jr. did help the Denver Nuggets last year in helping them win an NBA championship. And you can say this season was actually a sign of really progress for him. So there's a chance that he may not get traded. But if you really want to be realistic and see what's the best options out there, this guy, they can find many great pieces in return for someone like him, because Nuggets window is not closed. Jamal Murray is 27 years old. Nikola Jokic is 29 years old. These are your two best players on this team, and you're going to want to surround them with the best talent as possible. The key difference with this team was when they acquired Aaron Gordon, that was the difference maker for this team. And I believe that he's been a great addition to this team, and he definitely early on, especially in that series against the Timberwolves, was a very key piece in them winning the games that they did. But Michael Porter Jr., in my opinion, personally, he didn't really show up. He had 2 solid games in that series, but other than that, he scored single digits in all of his games. He had a great defense, but overall, he just didn't show up when his team needed him to. We'll see, what happens in free agency. We'll see what the Denver Nuggets do. I wouldn't really be surprised if they keep the same team intact and they try to acquire maybe another role player here for a minimum deal or something like that. I'm not really sure yet, but We'll see what happens, and I hope you guys enjoyed this brief video today. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more basketball content each and every single week. Have a great day. Peace.